Hello everybody, it's Philly Kuts. It's Wednesday. It's one of my favorite days of the week. Why? Because Wednesday is new comic release day. It signifies me getting over the hump at work. I do Monday through Friday. I'm over the hump. I'm over the halfway point. And I got my comics to really put me over. And to tide me over till the weekend. So I got a nice healthy stack of comics, guys. Mostly from some independents. Nice little stack, healthy stack that I want to get through here quickly. First, from Image Comics, we got the much-anticipated Witches from Scott Snyder of Batman fame, Superman fame, The Wake, I think American Vampire, I believe. I may be wrong. This has got a lot of hype around it. I don't know too much about it. All I know is it's about a 13-year-old girl who was involved in a bully incident. Her family moves to a location where they're near a woods. And we all know in horror stories, the woods, it's never a good place. But there's some sort of ancient evil out in this woods. And what they moved away from was nothing in comparison to what they're going to find out here. So that's my understanding of it. I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, just leafing through this issue, I'm really feeling the artwork, the colors. It's looking really good. It's by Jock Hollingsworth. It's looking pretty good. I mean, you got animal mutilation, people with guns, Bambi getting slaughtered. I mean, they got all kinds of stuff. People getting sucked into trees. I mean, look at this, people. Look at that. Just in time for deer hunting season in the United States, huh? Happy Halloween, people. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm probably going to read this first from my stack. All right, more Scott Snyder. We got Batman, number 35. I went with another Monsters of the Month variant cover. Looks like Batman looking all Nosferatu here. It's pretty good. Maybe I'll hang this on my office door outside for Halloween. I don't really know much about this. All I know is that it's starting a really big story arc. I think it's about a 5-issue story arc. Batman Endgame, Part 1. So, I'm looking forward for the ride. I was leafing through it. There's a Joker appearance. So, that's all I'm going to say about that, people. Another hotly anticipated comic, folks, from Image again. This time, it's Birthright. And who is the author of this book? Why, it's none other than Joshua Williamson of Ghosted fame and also Nailbiter, which I just bought the trade. I read through this. Nailbiter's pretty good. We'll get back to that. Birthright, this is another story of human tragedy in a way. This young lad gets abducted, missing child story, but then there's some twists and turns and some fantastical fantasy twists in this story. So from what I understand, it's expect the unexpected. Williamson is he's a hot author right now. He really is a hot writer right now, so I really enjoyed Nailbiter. I probably, if I do like this book, which is a nice, healthy-sized book for $3, I got to tell you, sure beats the $5 price tag of this, which I don't even know why it's even that much. I think they gave you a couple extra pages, and then in the end here, there's like literally 10 pages of advertisement in a row, which it just ticked me off. I didn't notice it until I got home. But this, for $3, looks like it's going to be a steal, at least for quality. And it just looks good. It looks good. I mean, here's some of the artwork here. I'm really looking forward to this. And there's also a lot of hype around this. So maybe I'll let you guys know what happens with this. This is Birthright. Back to Nailbiter. This was good. It's like 7 meets Twin Peaks. That's how it was described. I wouldn't say it was like Twin Peaks, really. I would say it's more like Seven, a little bit of Seven, because there's some detective tropes in there, especially the main character here, Finch. He's the African-American detective. He's kind of a hothead, similar to Brad Pitt's character in Seven. And then there's some odd characters sprinkled in here and there. There's like this store that this guy runs that's celebrating serial killers, because obviously in Buckaroo, Oregon, it's home to like 16 of some of the most notorious serial killers. But it really, I wouldn't say it was Twin Peaks-ish. Twin Peaks, and if you know David Lynch's stuff, it's pretty weird. It's pretty off the rails. I would say this is more like Twin Peaks light. If you ever played like Alan Wake, that was like Twin Peaks light. And then this is a version of like Alan Wake. You get it? You follow me? So Twin Peaks light. But still pretty good nonetheless. And that's why I decided to pick up Birthright. Okay. Aliens vs. Predator. I picked up the Mike Mignola variant cover. Maybe hard to tell, but there's the alien there. I kind of wish they chose a different, color palette. I like it when, you look at Mignola's stuff when it has, like, the primary colors in it, the reds and the yellows. That always looks nice. But this is taking on 4 different series, weaving them all together. Each series is going to have 4 comics. So you're going to have Prometheus, Aliens vs. Predator, and Predator. And the story arch is all over the place. So I'm looking through this, and this story, chapter 1 of this story, is taking place between the events of Prometheus Fire and Stone number 4, which isn't coming out until, like, December, I think. Yeah, December 10th. And then Predator Fire and Stone number 1, which I think comes out, like, next week or in 2 weeks. So that's kind of going to be kind of confusing. I guess I could just kind of read this whole series as a separate entity, but really, I'm going to read these issues as they go, but then I'm definitely going to just collectively maybe try to read them all together in the order that they're supposed to be, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's kind of confusing me, but whatever. I'm going to roll with it. I already read Prometheus number 1 and Alien number 1, so it did hook me. It did grab me in. And I'm gonna go on the ride. I'm gonna go on the ride for this. I really like how they have the schedule staggered very nicely in the back of this issue. They kind of let you know when all this stuff is going to be coming out, and they staggered it nicely so it's not going to put too much of a strain on my wallet and on my pull list. So I'm definitely going to stick with that. Terminal Hero, Dynamite Comics, number 3, and I love the covers. I love the covers that they're going with on this series. They just look great. They look awesome. I'm not even sure who did this cover. I don't even think they say. But I know that Peter Kowalski is doing the artwork, and I love him. He's also doing the Nightbreed series right now. And he just has a really nice style. It almost kind of reminds me of Jaime Zhang of The Next Testament, which also is a Clive Barker series. It kind of has some kind of like very soft features, almost like with a tiny, tiny dash of like Korean style look. I don't know, I just like it. I really, really like it. This book, this has been challenging. I almost feel like the author of this book, Peter Milligan, is almost trying too hard to shock. But I'm deciding to stay with it. The protagonist in this book, he's not the most likable person. And, we're learning more and more about his past. And it seems like he's done some really bad things. It's alluding to him having molested his sister. And I was leafing through this, and there's actually some real disturbing parts in this book. Where they make reference to that explicitly. And it's troubling. I'm not even going to show it to you. And it's challenging because, you want to kind of care for the character, but it's kind of hard when he has a rough past, and he currently is kind of like an asshole. He acts like an asshole currently. You know, he's kind of a miserable prick. So it's very, very challenging to like him. And it's interesting, too, in this book because his cancer kind of makes an appearance as a separate entity outside of himself, known as Tumor Boy. And there's Tumor Boy right there. It kind of looks like a fucked up thing. Like a thing turd. Yeah. So that's a very challenging book. I'm going to stick with it. I'm not even sure how long that series is going to be. I think it's a limited run, about maybe 7 issues, I think. I'm not sure entirely. Okay, my search for the female character that I want to buy on my pull list has been found, at least one of them, Lucifer from Hexed, and I love this book. I'm loving this series. I love Lucifer. She's just witty. She's smart. She's brave. She sacrifices herself to help her friends. Not even her friends, just to help people. And she really goes the distance. And it's just a great, great story. I'm really liking Dan Mora as well. And mainly, too, the colorist in this issue as well as Gabriel Casada. I think he did work in the last issue, too. And it just has some really, really cool color palettes. In the last issue, it was all kind of lavenders and purples. And this, it kind of continues that a little bit. I promise I'm going to film these with a better camera. But you can see that there's also some like red getting poured into the mix. And it just looks great. It looks great. And some more yellows. And I'm just loving it. I'm just loving the series so far. I love the first 2 issues. I'm intrigued. I'm really rooting for this character. And I want to see what happens as she goes further and further into the shade, which is kind of like the netherworld. The netherworld, where she's got to pull together her friends and her situation. Okay, Wild's End. Now, this came out in September. It actually came out a month ago. This is going to be a 4-part series. And something about this just kept catching my eye. You know, every time I went to the comic book store, I kind of was, you know, scanning through the articles. You know, it's in the W, so I'm looking for Wolverine stuff. And this just kept, you know, I kept looking at it, you know. I'm like, what are these, like, anthropomorphic animals? What are they doing? And I did a little reading up. This is supposed to take place in, like, 1930s England. It's kind of being described as Winnie the Pooh meets War of the Worlds. As you can see, that is kind of very War of the Worldsy, if you really look at it. 1930s England, anthropomorphic characters, a la Sweet Pickles, a la Babar the Elephant. Alien invasion occurs, and some interesting characters got to rise up to the plate. And it does kind of have like a real, almost childish look to it. Really like a children's storybook almost. And it just, I don't know, it just created these like warm, fuzzy feelings in me. And I'm very interested in it. Actually, I take it back, it's number 1 of 6. I thought it was a 4-part series. Good thing it's 6, because it looks like there's a ton of exposition in this. Not a lot of action, it looks like, but that's okay. Maybe they are really going to develop the characters really good, I hope. And I'm going to give it a try, you know, and if I don't like it or I don't feel it, that'll be that. Again, you know, I'm searching for new comics, you know. Been out of the game for a long, long time. Recently caught the bug again when I started buying Hellraiser trades, and I'm having a good time right now. So if anybody has any suggestions out there of any books, you know, kind of based on what you see that I'm getting here, I do have an affinity for like the horror stuff, and also more, emotional kind of psychological tales, just let me know. Okay. And finally, from IDW, I got the October faction. And the way to look at this one, I glanced through some reviews. It's like, imagine if the Addams family were very, very dysfunctional. And this would be the result. This guy, I'm not even sure, but one of the characters, the father, I forget his name, is a retired monster hunter. A retired monster hunter. And I guess that his family is, having troubles. Like any family would, if especially one of the parents is so involved in their career that other things start to get neglected. So that sounded like it would be really interesting to me. I always like to have, new insight into dynamics of families and things that are happening in families. So I thought that could be a really interesting read. It's by Steve Niles. He's done a lot of other horror works. So he's very proficient in the genre, you would say. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. This one does have a unique art style as well. It's by Damian Worm. It looks really cool, really dark. Very, very dark looking. Kind of ominous. Let's see if I can get another page. This doesn't even show up good on my camera because it's so freaking dark. You got some, like, Pit and the Pendulum stuff going on here. Circa Edgar Allan Poe. And it just looks like an interesting read. It was only $3, I think. No, it was $4. So I'm looking forward to it. Yep. It says here, Steve Niles, along with his partner in crime, Damian Worm, they're also doing Monster and the Madman, which is a crossover of the Frankenstein monster and Jack the Ripper. That could be interesting. That might be a future title to try out. So, I don't know. I'll let you guys know how it goes. So I'm just kind of really experimenting with this pull. Really just trying to find some new titles to buy regularly on my pull list. Like I said, I'm gonna keep buying Batman. I don't know why they're doing these crazy things with the pricing. They also had a combo pack that you could buy. I think it was $5.99, where you get this and the digital issue of it. If I look correctly, like a digital issue of the same thing. And like, why can't they just, like, as a trial offer, throw that in for free if they're trying to turn you on to digital comics? Because I know that Marvel, every issue of Marvel that I've picked up of a Marvel comic has had a free thing, a redemption sticker for a free title digitally. I mean, give me an incentive, dude. But yeah, I'm a little upset about this $5 freaking Batman. And it's because it's got, what, a few extra pages? I don't know, I'm pissed. I mean, this may seem fake, but I mean, I'm just like, why? Why? And then Batgirl's $3. It's fucked up. Looking forward to these two the most. These are my two most anticipated titles of the poll. And you guys, oh my God, I can't do this with the camera. You guys let me know. Let me know what you got for this week's poll. What you're most looking forward to this week. I'm experimenting, looking around, different companies. Boom, Dark Horse, Dynamite, IDW. I'm all over, man. I'm all over. But that's the name of the game, people. All right, thank you for watching another Philly Kuts comic poll. I believe this was number 5. Early, mid-October. All right, guys. I'll see you next week. Have a good week. But if you watch my channel regularly, you'll probably see me do another video before another week. Okay? All right. Peace, guys.